This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
It is the Morning Drive on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com. With Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire, I'm Chuck Heinz. There's one question here about the Lady Raiders. I'll address that, then we'll move on. And there's a little bit of a change in her pronunciation of her name. This is the 7'1" transfer from Nigeria, Stephanie Okachukwu. I had it in my head, Jamie. Okachukwu. So that's it now. Okachukwu, I believe.
It's it now.
Well, it was Chuck Woo, and now it's Chuck Wah, I believe. We're just going to call her Stephanie. How about them? Anyway, somebody asked when she'll be eligible to play. I don't know. I mean, you're kind of getting into this portion of the season too, where you've got to get her get her cleared medically and get her cleared from an eligibility standpoint. That may take a little bit more time than maybe what folks think, just to kind of work through everything and prove everything. And then you got to get her into basketball shape. She hadn't played basketball in like 8 months. So it may or may not be this year, because you're gonna burn a season once you put her on the floor. And that's what's really kind of strange about basketball versus football. And I think I'm going to ask you if baseball is the same way, that once you step on the field, that's a year. That you can't like play 4 games like in football and still retain, a year. Once you step on the court in basketball, that's year one.
No, I think in baseball, Jackson Burns pitched 2/3 of an inning the opening weekend last year. I assume that he'll get a red shirt for that season
because of the injury.
Yeah. Illness, actually.
Illness, okay. So anyway, and there's always look, Texas Tech just signed a guy out of the portal that this is going to be his 7th year coming up. So I guess there's always ways to wiggle around it, depending on what you have going on. So they just signed a tight end to come in here and play this next year, which will be his 7th year. His name is, I'll get you his name here. Jeff Carpenter. He's from Nevada. He is heading into his 7th season. This is from the Double T 97.3 Sports Network, where we keep track of all the portal activities. After starting at Eastern Washington in the spring football COVID season of 2021, he then transferred to Nevada and is now finishing his eligibility at Texas Tech. He led the Wolfpack last year with 35 catches, 374 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Okay, so he is coming here.
Good news?
Yeah, sure. Anytime somebody's coming, that's good, right? He also signed a kicker, which I was kind of surprised at, but I guess you can never have enough of those guys.
I think you can.
You probably can. You don't want to have a roster full of kickers, right? Upton Belafont signed.
Two is about good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Upton Belafont is off to South Carolina.
Huh? Wish him luck.
Wish him well. Okay. Cam Coleman made his announcement. He's going to go to Texas. So probably
kind of the big news of the weekend.
Are you surprised by that, or?
I'm not.
Okay. It kind of felt like that was where that was going.
I felt like there's no way in the world that Texas would not offer him everything. The embarrassment, the frustration, whatever, with that fan base would have been through the roof if he ended up with the Longhorns when it was publicly known. It was the Aggies, the Longhorns, the Red Raiders that were the 3 major suitors for him. And there's just no way that fan base would have accepted Texas Tech outbidding Texas for Cam Coleman. So I'm sure he was promised the keys to Austin to make sure he ended up there.
They rolled out the orange carpet, so to speak. And
yeah, it just felt
fleet of cars. Which one would you pick? One? Anyone? All of them.
Felt like there was no way they were going to allow him to end up in Lubbock.
Do you have a sense of what you feel like you need?
A number one receiver.
Yeah, a number one receiver. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now they'll go set their sights on that. The thing I saw from ESPN over the weekend is, and last year you were number one, and right now you're number two in terms of the portal rankings, with 14 guys coming in. So probably not totally surprised by that, are you?
Yeah. No.
You know, that's just kind of the way that it's supposed to be, I guess, or the way that it is right now. I think Indiana, according to ESPN, was ranked number one for their portal rankings, with Texas Tech number two, and Indiana's getting ready to play for a national championship. They have committed. They've gotten 12 commits, including their new quarterback, Josh Hoover, who comes in from TCU. And the Red Raiders, of course, got their quarterback in Brendan Sorsby from Cincinnati. Coach Gerlich put out a tweet, I guess this was before we left Cincinnati, offering a ride to Brendan Sorsby and his girlfriend. I'm like, the plane's full. I guess thinking I'll be walking home. But he was already here.
Okay.
So it was kind of in jest, but I'm like, well, what if he says, yeah, I could use a lift to Lubbock. We're gonna be on the Greyhound coming home. What did you make of the? And I guess this is just the way it is. And my understanding is that there's agreements here with Texas Tech players that along the same lines that you have to pay $1 million to Cincinnati to buy out Brendan Sorsby.
Not surprised. I mean, we had heard that those were being put into contracts, so really not surprised at all.
But I guess I was surprised. I mean, just because I hadn't necessarily seen that. I mean, I understand. I mean, if you're signing somebody to a multi-year agreement, that there's a buyout if they want to go somewhere else. Much like
it's crazy to think that we're paying more for Brendan Sorsby's buyout than we're paying for NIL use for some of the other complete teams on campus.
Yeah. And Chuck, if we've learned nothing else in the last 3 years, nothing should surprise us anymore.
Yeah.
I guess you're right about that.
Nothing should surprise us anymore.
I'll admit it. I was surprised.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Time for This Day in Sports History. Today is January the 12th, 2026. With This Day in Sports History, here is Jeff McGuire.
1946 is where we will start today, guys, because the NFL champion Cleveland Rams owner Daniel Reeves announces plans to move the team to Los Angeles to avoid having to compete with the incoming AAFC Browns team. An NFL champion is leaving town because the Browns are coming in. Just let that sit there and soak for a minute. 1958. NCAA adds the 2-point conversion to football scoring.
Good one.
1969, Super Bowl III. New York Jets beat the Baltimore Colts 16-7. Joe Namath is your MVP.
Shocked the world.
Overrated quarterback. 1986.
Joe Namath?
Joe Namath.
Well, he was good that day. I mean,
overrated quarterback.
Okay.
You watch a lot of the games, did you?
I've seen a lot of his stats. Yes.
Well, I mean, it was different then too.
I understand it was different. Take away his proclamation, he's not a Hall of Fame quarterback.
I think winning that Super Bowl made him a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Take away one game and he's not a Hall of Fame quarterback. 1986. AFC Championship game took place. New England Patriots beat the Miami Dolphins 31-14. The NFC, saw the Bears beat the Rams 24-0.
It would not be a good day in a couple of weeks for the New England Patriots.
No, but it would be a great day for the Super Bowl shuffle.
It would, yes.
2019, Matt Mooney scored a season-high 22 points, and Jarrett Culver went for 14 points and 9 rebounds to lead the number 8 Red Raider basketball team to a 68-62 win over Texas for the first win in Austin since February 24th, 1996. And in 2020, Lady Raiders had 5 players in double figures, scoring led by Lexi Gordon with 19 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists to lead in all 3 of those stat categories, helping defeat Kansas 89-72.
That was a really good team, and probably were it not for COVID, that team, if they had won a couple games in the Big 12 tournament, maybe not even that many, would have been an NCAA tournament team.
It is National Curried Chicken Day and National Marzipan Day. Marzipan Day. Marzipan. M-A-R-Z-I-P-A-N Day. Marzipan.
And what is that?
It's a confection, so like a sweet, primarily of sugar and almond meal, mostly ground almonds, sometimes augmented with almond oil or extract. So it's like a sweet almond thing. Yeah.
I probably would like it. I like the almond taste.
Jeff Bezos is 62. Howard Stern, 72. Rob Zombie, 61. Rachel Harris is 58. Oliver Platt, 66. Dontrell Willis is 66. Drew Pearson, 75. And Dontrell... Did I say... Yeah, Dominic Wilkins. Yeah, that... I'm losing my mind. 1904. Let me get past this.
How old is Dominic Wilkins?
Dominic Wilkins is 66.
Wow.
Human highlight reel.
Yeah.
And in 1904, Henry Ford sets a land speed record of 91.37 miles per hour, or as fast as Chuck drove this morning to work, on the frozen surface of Michigan's Lake St. Clair. He was driving a four-wheeled vehicle dubbed the 999 with a wooden chassis but no body or hood. Ford's record was broken within a month. Not by Chuck Heinz. And that is this day in sports history.
6:49 this morning here on the morning this day in sports history. Let's see. High school fan zone tonight, beginning at 6. Estacado, Monterey, Memorial, and Liberty coaches all coming to pay a visit. And then Lady Raider basketball with Krista Gurley tonight at 6. And then the wild card game tonight between the Steelers and the Texans. Do you have a favorite in this game?
I would definitely favor the Texans to win it.
Even though they're playing on the road?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, as good as they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, the Steelers are only in there because their division was so poor.
Sure.
Yeah.
And they won their division, so they get to host.
Yeah, I think the Texans are a much better team. I would not be shocked at all. I would not predict it, but I would not be shocked at all for the Texans to get to an AFC title game or even the Super Bowl. I think that's a good team.
Mm-hmm.
That defense is legit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no question.
But I would say that about Denver and in New England too, as far as wouldn't be shocked for them to be in the AFC title game / Super Bowl.
You know what's crazy, and I heard this morning on Double T 97.3 coming into work, but you know the Bills are favored in their game against the Broncos.
Okay, a little surprising.
It really is. I mean, nice
win yesterday, but Denver's been, on top of the AFC almost the whole entire season.
Yeah, and the ESPN matchup predictor has, and I know you don't put a whole lot of stock in that, and I understand on that.
Well, I thought it was funny last week that the Bills were favored to beat the Jaguars by 1.5, but the matchup predictor picked the Jags by 53%. So I'm like, okay, so it's a toss-up, right? It's a toss-up.
Yeah, and
the game was.
So you could kind of consider that the case with the Bills and the Broncos then as well, because it's 50.3 for Buffalo and 49.7 for Denver, but the game is going to be in Denver.
They just
obviously
feel like Denver's inexperience will come into play, I guess.
Yeah, maybe so. Go Texans. Somebody wants to know if I induced myself into a football coma this weekend. I did. Yesterday, more so than Saturday. Saturday was busy with Lady Raider basketball, so I saw nothing of Saturday game. But we went back to back to back yesterday at my house with the football. So that was kind of fun. This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line, going back to that Texas Tech basketball game. I went to that UT game in 1996. I lived in Houston at the time, so it was a close road trip. It was my first experience winning in enemy territory, and it felt so good to shut up those UT fans who were so obnoxious until the last 5 minutes. There was a mass exodus in the last 2 minutes of the game. Okay,
does sound like fun.
Yeah, it is. That is fun, right? You go in and you playing at somebody else's place, and then they start leaving. So.
Or to just shut up UT fans.
Yeah, right. Lindale Jeff says this with regard to Oklahoma State. There's an Oklahoma State guy on Twitter bragging about how many they signed in their portal class. I just wrote, is someone going to tell him? I think the tell him is they're getting a lot of North Texas players.
They are, yeah, and I mean, have one of the highest rated portal classes, which is, I mean, again, the quarterback and the running back they got from Oklahoma State, I think, or excuse me, from North Texas to go to Oklahoma State, I think could have played anywhere. But I mean, when you're loading up on North Texas players, I mean, they got more from there. Yeah. It doesn't feel like that's going to do, make you the top team in the conference by any stretch of the imagination. But I don't know. We'll see. They definitely got a good quarterback and a good young running back from UNT. So
they've signed 33 players so far. 33.
Yeah. For them, they're hoping quality, not just quantity.
Right, and obviously they had some guys leave.
Like I said, the quarterback and the running back are really good.
Mm-hmm. Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. Take your thoughts, comments, your reactions to the weekend on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app. It is presented by Happy State Bank. Okay. Basketball from Saturday. Red Raiders defeat Colorado 73-71, move their record to 12-4 and 2-1 in the Big 12. We've talked about this some. They were really, really happy with 26 minutes and really, really not with 14. I guess that's kind of the summation of it. The defense in the second half left a little bit to be desired, obviously. Do you think it's maybe just they just kind of just let down a little bit, Jamie?
I think that they were a little comfortable. Yeah, that would be my guess. Just got a little comfortable, and Colorado started hitting some shots, and then they started feeling good about things. And as it got a little closer, maybe you started missing some shots as you got a little bit tighter. But I think there was just a little bit of a letdown there because you were so comfortably in control of that game. And I mean, we've seen it many times before with a lot of different teams in all sports. I mean, it happens, right? It just happens. And then a team gets rolling, especially when they're playing in front of their home crowd and they, start mounting this comeback. And then you start to feel a little bit, a little more pressure on you. And suddenly you're not as comfortable as you once were.
Yeah.
But I do think there's, I don't know. This Red Raider team clearly has some really nice pieces. Okay, clearly has some really nice pieces. They are not blessed with being a deep basketball team, and when you get some guys in foul trouble, that affects this team more than maybe it would other teams because you're not exceptionally deep. Mm-hmm. And Coach McCaslin, I mean, just his style, he doesn't use the bench a lot. And so when you're forced to go to the bench with some guys that maybe haven't played a lot of minutes, you don't always know what you're going to get. And I also think JT Toppin, I think Christian Anderson, Lawan Watts, great offensive players. Jalen Petty, great. I mean, freshman, just love his mentality as far as just fearlessness, all of that. I don't know that any of them are dogs on the defensive end. I just don't know that you have those guys. I don't know if you have one or two of those guys. I don't know if you have any. I'm not sure. I'm not saying that they're not good, solid defensive players or whatever, but I just don't know that you have like that toughness, that guy.
And the two bigs that you have out right now, Quintok and Bamboye.
Well, Quintok played.
I know. That's what I was going to say. He got in and played 3 minutes. My question was going to be, do you think that changes things defensively for you?
Well, I think it definitely will help if you have a rim protector. Mm-hmm. No question. But I don't think he's a big toughness guy, but he definitely changes shots.
Yeah.
That's why you brought him in, to play defense and rebound. You weren't looking for him to, light it up offensively. So surely he would help.
And the thing that's, when you kind of look at it and go, okay, well, sometimes when teams fight their way back into a game, it's because they're hitting a bunch of threes. But Colorado, they were only 6 of 21. They were pounding it inside, and like you said, you got in foul trouble. They got to the free throw line. I mean, they were 19 of 22 from the free throw line, including 14 of 16 in the second half. And they have one player, Isaiah Johnson, go 13 of 13 from the free throw line. That's how they battled back.
It speaks to you getting into foul trouble, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, and you had, Atwell with 4 and Toppin with 4 and also Lawan Watts with 4 and then Jalen Petty with 4. You had 4 players with 4 fouls, and you're probably fortunate that nobody fouled out. Mm-hmm. Because you did bring in Tyree Bryan and you did bring in Mario Quintok, and then Leon Horner got to play 8 minutes as well.
Yeah, it seems like you've had a decent amount of games this year where you've had at least one of your key guys battling foul trouble. And again, the combination of having a team that's foul prone and not having a deep bench is not a good combination.
Right. And then the other thing too is, you put up almost half your shots were threes. Attempts. You had 31 and you had 70 field goal attempts in the ball game, but so you only get to the free throw line 10 times, and 4 and then you go 4 of 10. So you got to be a little bit better at that. When I got in my car Saturday night, it was for the last possession, and the last Tech possession, and then the last Colorado possession, and on the broadcast, action level, Jeff goes, okay, this is the Red Raiders had the ball out of bounds, and if they don't score here, then you're in trouble and may not win the game. And obviously he didn't score, and then Colorado brings the ball up and then jack up a 3 and they miss it, and you win the ball game and you escape, because you almost wonder, and I didn't see the video replay of it, you almost wonder would they have been better off trying to drive and get fouled and go to the free throw line because you had done that so much.
Well, it'd be hard to be worse off since they missed a shot and lost the game.
Right. Right. But you know what I'm saying? Were you...
Or letting a different guy shoot it, or running a different play.
Yeah. Since you were 6 of 21, you're 6 of 20 going into that possession.
Yeah, hindsight.
Sure, it's 2020. Yeah. even 2015. To some degree. But, that'd have been my thought. It's like, okay, drive the basketball.
Especially at home, get the game to overtime.
Yeah. Drive the basketball. Maybe even get fouled, Maybe you might hit the shot and you have a chance for 3, so to speak. But thank goodness they didn't do that. All right, so let me ask you this, and we may have to carry this over here, and we've got time to do that. But when you look at the Big 12 standings right now, you have 4 teams that are 3-0. And then you have Texas Tech, UCF, Colorado, and West Virginia that are all 2-1. So 4 teams that are 2-1. And then you have 4 teams that are 1-2, Kansas, Oklahoma State, TCU, and Arizona State. And then you have 4 teams that are 0-3, Baylor, K-State, Cincinnati, and Utah. It's just kind of interesting, isn't it, how that works out.
It's very aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah. And
everything is balanced.
Right. And I feel like the top 4 are certainly a cut above. And then the teams that are all 2-1, I feel like of those teams, that you're the best of the 2-1s.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
And then of the 1 and 2s, I think those are teams that are all scratching their head trying to figure out who are we and where are we gonna finish, and are we just, what are we doing, so to speak. Right?
Okay.
Well, because Kansas frankly should be 0-3 and TCU frankly should be 2-1. But you got to finish ball games.
But then it wouldn't have been 4-4-4-4.
I know, right? It wouldn't have worked out so well, right?
I know.
But the other thing and I guess that surprises me, just because of based of how good they've been over the years, is that Baylor is 0-3.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just amazing how quick the drop-off has been there.
And I feel like of the 1 and 2...
Yeah, how about same thing with Kansas State?
Yeah, right.
Kansas State seems like each and every year is one of the top 5 or 6 in the conference, or a lot of years, and they're in that 0-3 spot as well.
Yeah. So it's just kind of a weird deal right now, but you have a chance to win a couple of big games this week because you take on 2 teams that are one that's 0-3 and one that's 3-0. So you have a chance to kind of, okay, who are we? Are we good enough to be in the top 4? And you have a chance to knock off one of those teams this week, and BYU when you play them on Saturday.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, guys, we're going to talk a little college football here in regards to the Red Raiders. We saw the season that was for the Red Raiders and how good it was.
Mm-hmm.
We saw how it came to a crashing halt when we got to the college football playoff.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen the college football playoff games, okay? And we've seen, the regular season as well. So we've seen pretty much everything but the national championship game.
Okay.
So I have 2 questions for you today. And this, again, deals with expectations for next year. Okay? And your confidence level. Scale of 1 to 100.
Mm-hmm.
I want your confidence level.
1 to 100. Okay.
Yeah. I want your confidence level in that the Red Raiders will, again, win the Big 12 championship and be in the college football playoff. And 2, I want your confidence level that Tech could make it to a national championship game next year.
My confidence level is pretty high. I think that you could be next year's Oregon or next year's Indiana, just in terms of taking that next step. And obviously, Oregon didn't get to the national championship game, and Indiana has. Jamie, I'm going to say it's 90% on both. 90% confidence level, you're going to win the Big 12, and 90%. I might even be a little bit higher. I'll say 95 that you're going to get to a national championship game.
Okay. I like it.
He has learned nothing in all of his years of working in radio.
I'm a fake.
Nothing. You've learned nothing, Chuck Heinz.
That's not true.
Yeah, because if you are that high, you might as well say for Texas Tech to win the Big 12 championship, it's 97.3% chance they're going to win it. He has learned nothing. Nothing, I say. Go back to Radio 101, sir.
Yeah, you're right about that.
For the national championship game, I am saying 97.3 for the Big 12. I'll give you the rest of the Big 12, 2.7% chance to get a win in the Big 12 championship game. You are that far ahead, and you're only getting better. And I don't see everybody in the Big 12 making a push that way. There's teams that are getting better, but not in that same way.
Okay.
For the national championship game, I'm somewhere around 50. Because you got to get there. And you didn't perform so well on the big stage the last time around. You're going to have different players. You're going to have the same coaches. But a lot of those players on defense, that was the best defense we have ever seen here, aren't going to be here anymore. And I need to see them do something on the field before I go higher than that. It's really hard to get to the national championship
You guys
game.
have never, ever, ever made me feel more like a Debbie Downer than right now.
I'm high on life.
95%. I mean, let's just take the low one. Jeff said 50%. We're at 50%. Toss of a coin that we're going to be playing in the national championship game next year. Yours is like, I mean, nearly done deal.
Print the T-shirts, man.
Love you both. I think I'm at about 90%. You play or you win the Big 12 championship.
Okay.
The 10% I'm saving back is a Brendan Sorsby injury. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Play in the national championship game. I'll put it at 15. Closer to 10, though. Let's go 10. I want 10. I'll put it at 10%. What gives me hope is that we saw teams like Oregon and Indiana struggle in their first game a year ago and then come back strong.
Yeah.
What gives me hope is I don't think you were really as bad as you played in that game offensively against Oregon. It was just a bad day. What gives me hope is that you've improved in some key areas. But what doesn't give me hope is I think you've taken a slight step back in some areas, maybe. Okay?
David Bailey's not running through that tunnel anymore.
Yeah. I don't know right now that you're as good as on defense. I don't know that right now you're as good at the wide receiver position. Okay, than you were a year ago. Right now. Okay. And I don't. It doesn't feel like, let's say, Indiana is getting any worse. I mean, they're just continuing to load up.
Right.
We should play in.
Yeah, no, I know. So you could allow Indiana could be on the other side of the bracket. Yeah.
You could be the 2 seed.
But heck, I feel like at 10%, I'm like, hey, we got a
shot.
1 in 10 chance to be in the national championship game next year. That's awesome. 90%.
Yeah, and going to Jamie.
50%. That's, just coin flip that we're going to play in the national championship game next year.
Yeah, but it's when we play Indiana. If it's there on the other side of the bracket, we flip the coin right. No, going back to Jamie's point about how you're going to take a step back on defense, you could be, and I'm stealing this from Rob Bro, so trust the source there. You could be a touchdown worse per game.
Yes.
And still be
elite.
Awesome. Yeah.
And that's really where I'm thinking on from the defensive standpoint is that you can take a step back and still be great. Mm-hmm. The question that I have is, it goes back to that doggone offensive line. Can you get a little bit better there? And I love the fact that you've got all 3 of your running backs coming back. I love the fact that Terrence Carter's coming back. And I'm with you. You want to make sure that you go out and get yourself a big receiver. You got some guys coming back, and you've got some guys that are here on campus right now. So, yeah, I'm feeling really good. Obviously, I'm feeling really good.
But you need to go back to Radio 101.
Man.
That's what it has to.
I thought this year was a blast. My head may spin off next year.
But when you look at your Big 12 schedule for next year, you're at Baylor, you're at Cincinnati, you're at Colorado, you're at Oklahoma State. None of those games.
I'm not worried about any of those fools.
Yeah,
it's those fools in the college football playoff.
Arizona, Arizona State, TCU, Houston, West Virginia. Those are your home games.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
You with us today on the Morning Drive. Come to you from the First United Bank studio. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Visual Edge IT hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. If you care to comment anything that we've been discussing or you want to add to the conversation, you want to share anything that was spectacularly great or terrible for you over the weekend that you just need a shoulder to kind of lean on, we're here. We got Got big shoulders.
If you have issues and you feel like the people you need to come to are the three of us, you've got bigger issues than the initial one you thought you had.
This from
something we're gonna fix.
Well, I'm not fix. I mean, just kind of, you can just lament with us. You can, share with us. You can, kind of get it out, right? This from Randy Rosetta. He'll be the host of the High School Fan Zone tonight, as he is every Monday and Wednesday night this time of year. Tonight at 6 o'clock on 100.7 The Score, he'll have Estacado girls basketball coach Jay January, Monterey boys basketball coach Josh Davis, Memorial girls basketball coach Jason Cooper, and Liberty girls basketball coach Morgan Gillespie. That'll be tonight from 6 until 7:30 on 100.7 The Score. We'll also have the Wildcard game tonight. This will be the last one of the Wildcard. Texans at the Pittsburgh Steelers. I've always liked the Steelers. I don't necessarily care for Aaron Rodgers, but I've always liked the Steelers.
Yeah, he kind of changes things there.
He does kind of change things. But I think I'm rooting for him.
Okay.
I think I'm rooting for the Steelers tonight, just because I've just always had this. They've never been my team. I've never like cried over a loss or gone out and drank champagne because they won something. But I've just always kind of appreciated what they've done over the years in NFL history. So we'll have that game for you tonight at 7. Although if the Texans win and there's Texans fans in our audience, I'll be happy for you.
Surely there are Texans fans in our audience.
Absolutely.
There's probably a Steelers fan or two in the audience.
Yeah, and somebody had asked me earlier on the Yates Twenty Center chat line because I said I watched 3 football games yesterday, or at least it was on. I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, there were times when I might have napped a little bit in between, because my chair was just really comfortable and the blanket was nice and warm and house was warm and belly was full and, it's just eyes got a little tired, took a little nap at various points in time in the day. But, while football season is, quote, over for me, that doesn't mean that I don't not watch it, but I don't, there's no team for me to get upset with if they win or they lose. So I'm neutral right now. I'm neutral. So one of the things that's on the forefront right now in college football, in addition to a national championship game a week from tonight, is how to handle things moving forward, from a college football playoff standpoint. And Heather Dinich has written a story on ESPN about what's getting ready to happen as there's a big meeting and a deadline coming up to determine what it's going to be like for next year. So, Jamie, you could have 12, you could have 16, or you could have 24.
Okay.
Her opening line is, there is strong support for a 16-team format to begin as soon as next year. But the Big Ten commissioner and the SEC commissioner have to reach a compromise. And they're the ones that have basically the power in their hands, as it's been ceded to them by the other conference commissioners and the athletics director at Notre Dame. There is a possibility that could remain at 12 as well. With regard to the 16-team field, it would include 5 conference champions and 11 at-large teams. There's another format with 24 teams. Do you have a preference of 16, 12, or 24?
I gave you my 24 last week, and I'm sticking to that. That's my preference.
Okay.
I'll take that over the 16.
Okay.
And I would love for 16. But my 24-team scenario is what I would like. But I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, my thought would be the thing about the 24-team field would be that there would be less automatic qualifiers. And that's what might sway the SEC that way, because that's the Big Ten model. And so if you have less automatic qualifiers, then there'd be more of an opportunity for more SEC teams potentially to get in.
Well, there'd be more of an opportunity for any conference teams to get in if you have more spots, right?
Yes, that's correct. But a 2014 playoff without automatic qualifiers might be what Greg Sankey would like from an SEC standpoint, because he would say, well, I know that we're going to get in more SEC teams if we do that than if there's a certain number of automatic qualifiers. The other thing is, no matter the scenario, it doesn't appear that the group of 5 is going to be left out. So no matter what happens, you're probably going to have a group of 5 team in there as far as that's concerned. But they're going to meet the 10 FBS commissioners, Notre Dame Athletic Director Pete Bavacqua, and then 11 presidents and chancellors who comprise the Board of Managers are going to meet January the 18th, which is next Sunday, the day before the national championship game, for their annual review of the season. They're going to discuss a couple models that include the 5 conference champions and 11 at-large team, and then another format with 24 teams. It would seem like if you wanted to get something done for next year, the easier model to go to would be to add 4 teams and get to 16.
Yep, I completely agree.
And
I would 100% be happy with that.
Yeah.
Nothing else has to change. No more guarantees or less guarantees or anything. Just go to 16.
And then there's
4 more at large.
Yeah, and her sources, Heather Denich's sources, are saying that the Big Ten might be agreeable to the 16 team for now, but then look for a commitment to move to 24 after 2 or 3 seasons, which would be halfway through the new deal, the new 6-year deal with from a television standpoint. So we shall see. But I have to think
that with the 24, that has to be a bigger conversation about the schedule. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I feel like it would be more difficult to make that change right off the bat.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet973.com.